and welcome back to Opal&Mint. I am Ashley and welcome back to my swatching series. This is where I am going through and swatching all of my paint collection in this giant or light wish swatch. I can never say this. Light wish swatch book. This thing is huge and oh, don't close it yet. It's not all the way dry. And I'm hoping I can get a good amount of my paint collection in here. We might be able to get all of them in. I don't know. I have a lot of paints. But if I don't fit them in, we'll just get another one. But we've been going through and swatching all of my paints. If you missed the Schminke granulating paints, go watch that. That one I think is my favorite. These are stunning and I just want to use those all the time. But today we're going to be swatching ocean paper. Now, if you don't know what ocean paper is, I'm going to talk a little bit more about it while I'm swatching. But it is a handmade brand from Hawaii, and I have 3 palettes from them. Today I'm going to be swatching 2 of them, and I'll swatch the 3rd one in another video. But these are the ones we're swatching today. So let's just go ahead and dive into this. Go ahead and turn the camera around and start swatching. So I have 2 ocean paper palettes. This was the very first one that I got. Will you focus? There you are. I've already started getting this wet because these work best if you pre-wet them. You don't have to, but they do actually take a little bit more to reactivate. Now, before I swatch these, if you're unfamiliar with ocean paper, I want to tell you a little bit about them because it's very important that you understand what this company is. So these are made in Hawaii. It's just a single person making these in her home, and they're very difficult to get your hands on. 1, they are pricey. They're handmade paints. They're expensive. 2, she doesn't restock constantly. They are a little bit easier than 31 Purple Fish to get a hold of. A lot more expensive in my opinion though. But the colors that she makes are so beautiful. And there's usually at least a palette that's available. It might not be the one you want, but I actually have 3 palettes from ocean paper. So today I'm going to try and get through these 2, and then I'll do the 3rd one in another video. I just couldn't do them all because that's a lot of paints. So I'm going to start with this one. This is the first palette that I got, and they have names on these paints. She has some singles, so if there's a paint, you might get lucky and find it, but in general, she changes out the palettes, and there probably aren't these 2 exact palettes anymore. This was the Kelp and Urchin palette, and I don't even remember what this one was called, but she changes them up. If it's something you want, know that it's going to be expensive and know that the selection is going to be limited. But these paints are a little bit more opaque than traditional watercolors. I love the tones that she makes. She does a lot of dusty, vintagey, muted colors, and that speaks to my soul. So we're going to go ahead and start swatching this one first. One other thing about the formula of these, is they have oh wow, this is a tiny one. The texture of them is a little bit different, again, than traditional watercolors. All right, let's talk about these colors. So the texture on these paints is, I'm gonna say, a little bit gritty. And I'm not gonna say it's a completely... Oh, let me start painting so I haven't actually painted with these in quite a while. When I first got these, I painted hard with these. This yellow is almost gone. But let's start with loam. But I don't know if you can tell, there's quite a bit of opacity to these. I don't have any pigment information or light fast. I just have the color name. So again, with handmade brands, that's usually the case. But there is loam. So they're not like super gritty, but they have a little bit of a different brush feel than all of my other paints, honestly. It's not something that bothers me. I really enjoy painting with these, but it is something to know. If you prefer a super, super smooth, buttery paint, then you might not like these. These feel... I don't know how to... I'm trying to think of a way to describe it where it doesn't sound like I'm saying something negative. Because they're a completely different texture than what I usually paint with, but I love them. I love the colors. I love the way they dry. They're just beautiful and unique handmade paints. They're not like every other thing, and I like that. This yellow, I mean, I don't know if you can tell by how much I've used it, but this yellow is so beautiful. The yellow and then the mint color, the sea clay, those are my two favorites from the brand. But I really do love so many of them. Okay, this next one is Potter's Pink. This one, this is probably my favorite Potter's Pink I've ever used. I'm assuming it's probably the same pigment that most Potter's Pink use. It looks like it. It granulates so pretty. You know what? I don't have stone swatches of these. I might do stone swatches so you can see them. I'll just insert the footage and do those later. I love this Potter's Pink. It is so intense. Most Potter's Pinks are really light and don't quite build up like this. But again, these paints are more opaque, look solid. Look at that kind of paint. So you can actually use these kind of like a gouache. They will layer on top of each other for the most part. There may be some colors that are a little bit less, but you can put light on top of dark with these because of how opaque they are. Again, they're going to be a little different texture. They're not as transparent and light, but I really do enjoy painting with these. But see, when you wet them ahead of time like this, you get some really good opacity and color payoff. That's red ochre. All right, here's my other favorite color. This is sea clay. You just cover an entire page with this color. I love it so much. Oh, the fun thing, look how solid that is. The fun thing about doing this series of swatching through all of my paints is it's reminding me of what I have and making me want to bring them all back out again. So I kind of get stuck in my rut of just using the same paints over and over. I really want to bring these back out. I kind of stopped using them on camera, honestly, because of controversy. Like I had people say they've ordered from Ocean Paper and they never got their order, or the owner wasn't responding, or I've never had a problem getting my paints from Ocean Paper. I've ordered 3 palettes. The shipping takes a little while because it's coming from Hawaii, but I've never had her not respond. I've never had a product I paid for not show up. So I was like in this position where I was like, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to encourage people to buy it and then them not get it. But I also, at the same time, I don't want to spread these rumors about a handmade paint maker trying to make a living because I don't know what's true. So I kind of just stopped talking about them because I felt like I was in a tough position, you know? That's green umber. All right, 2 more left on this palette, and then we'll move on to the other one. I don't know if you can tell this one also. I have used the majority of it. This is such a beautiful Potter's Pink and Fern together. Oh my gosh. They're so beautiful. Look how deep and rich this is. And then I will lighten that. Look how beautiful. So pretty. This one's really fun in like Christmas cards, like Christmas trees and stuff. So beautiful. And then green gray is such a beautiful color as well. But yeah, they're just a different texture, different type of paint than anything else in my collection. So I'm curious if you've heard of Ocean Paper. Do you have any Ocean Paper paints? So these are also, they come in these 3D printed palettes. I haven't been to the website in so long. They may have other options. My other palette is a wooden box. I don't know if they still do 3D printed palettes, or if I feel like, for some reason, I feel like they started using metal palettes, but I don't know. I'll leave the website linked below so you can check it out if you wish. All right, moving on. The next palette, I remembered, is called the Flowers palette. All right, so the first color is Titanium White. Pretty opaque white. Next color is a beautiful pastel yellow. This is such a beautiful color. This one is Naples Yellow Light. So pretty. Next up, much deeper color. This is called Silt. It's actually similar to the color above, the slate blue gray. Green, I mean. They are quite similar. There was, I think, only one duplicate from between these two colors, and it's one of my favorites, so I'm okay with that. This is Mustard. This one's a little bit more transparent. Looks like it can build up some, but it's not as opaque as the rest. I like this one. It can get nice and pale. Pretty. Next up is Clementine. This is kind of a peachy, light peachy color. Okay, there's that one. All right, the next color is called Wildflower, and this is a rich, very, very rich yellow. Orangey yellow, actually. I would actually call that more orange, but it is very pretty. I feel like you could use this in sunflowers. That with the mustard, those would be really pretty together. All right, next up is Iris. Pretty sure, so I'm reading the names that are on the pan, and some of them are really hard to read. So I think this one said Iris, but that is an orange. Very vibrant. Be great for a tiger lily. Next up is a beautiful kind of bubblegum pink. This is Rosy. That is so bubblegum. Again, very opaque. Very, very fun to play with. Next up, this one is very appropriately named. It's called Poppy, and man, painting poppies with this is the perfect color. This one has a little bit more transparency than some of the others. I think the pastel ones, because they've got white in them, you know, they are going to have the most opacity. I really like that poppy color though. All right, next is Quin Magenta. Yeah, see, that's pretty. See, some of these more traditional colors, we've got some transparency, so you can, some of them do feel more like traditional watercolors. Let's see how much this one builds up. It's still got quite a bit of pigment in there. We can build it up pretty well. All right, next up is Tea Rose. This is such a beautiful, unique pink. I just love her color mixes. This is so beautiful. Again, very, very opaque. Beautiful. Oop. Next is Foliage, and whoops, this is a perfect green for foliage. So pretty. All right, this next one is gorgeous. This is dark ash blue. Another beautiful opaque kind of muted color. So, so pretty. All right, here's a very traditional color, but this one is Ultramarine Deep. As expected, very pretty. This one's got some transparency to it, but still packs a punch. Let's see how much that one will granulate. All right, the next one's really deep. This is Prussian Blue, and it is like rich. Look at that. Look at that blue. Very, very pretty. Next is Silk Gray. Now this is a very, very pale gray. Again, just so pretty and light. Love some of these pastel-y colors. Silk Gray. All right, next is Desert Green. I haven't used this one a whole lot. It's Desert Green. It's an interesting green. Not my favorite color, but next is Sea Clay. This is the one that is a duplicate from the two palettes, and it's one of my favorite colors, so I wanted more of this paint anyways. So I was fine that it was in this palette. So I used it a lot in the other one. You can see, so here it is fresh, and then here it is mostly dry. You can see some granulation in the Potter's Pink, the Fern. That almost looks like it's got granulation too. This one has some granulation. Silt. Man, this I'm gonna have to do stone swatches so you can see some of these with more granulating happening. Okay, Juniper. Juniper is another beautiful one. I feel like this one granulated quite a bit too. It's a deep, rich, pretty green. Not as deep as Fern, but very, very beautiful. Next up is a vibrant, beautiful mermaid. Look at that color. Mermaid is the perfect name for that. This one feels like a very staining color. It's like soaking into the paper and staying. Yep, that one sticks. Okay, this one I couldn't quite read the name. The writing on the pan was kind of blurred out, but it was something yellow. And it is my kind of yellow. It looks cad adjacent. Very, very bright, but warm-ish. This one looks like it's kind of staining too. Let me lift a little bit. All right, only a few left. Man, these swatches went fast. Okay, next is Dark Umber. See how much this one will build up. Then we have Raw Umber. The Flowers palette is such a beautiful, well-rounded palette. Like, I feel like you really wouldn't need anything other than this. And I know a lot of people don't like mixing with paints like this because it's they have several pigments in them. Their mixes can be unpredictable, but honestly, I love mixing with any paint, and these included. I still mix colors with these. Okay, whoops, darn it, I keep hitting the camera. All right, so second to last is Carbon Black. Look how dark that is. It's beautiful. There's that one, and then we have one color left, and this one is called Canopy. Very yellowy green. There's that. So there are all the colors from these two palettes. Again, the other one I have, I will swatch in another video. Let me know which swatching you want to see next though. Do you want me to do the, what is it called? Ocean paper next to finish this page out? Or should I go back to my Holbeins? I have so many different ones, but let me know. And I'll put the finished stone swatches on the screen here as well so you can see them. But these are so beautiful. Man, that rosy is just pop. It's so pretty. So I'm curious, have you heard of ocean paper paints? Do you have any? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Let me know. And again, I don't want to have any controversy going on about the brand, but if you have experience with the brand, let us know in the comments. But personally, I haven't had any problems getting my paints. But that is going to wrap up this one. I hope that you enjoyed this swatching video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you want to see our future videos, hit that subscribe button down below and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.